I want to talk about.
All right, we're live. Welcome to the RG DFS Tournament Takes podcast. That was Brett trying to interrupt me, but anyway, I'm your host, Chris Kirkwood, Killa Keith Kirkwood. Here with my boys, Brett Hartfield, KillaB 2482, John Surabian, JSURab, and we're back for another slate, second time this week. And I had a pretty bad Thanksgiving actually I did pretty well in Yahoo, but bad on DK. By the time that Kirkwood touchdown happened, like most of my lineups were dead already anyway, even though I did play him, like I said, in captain on Showdown. And I did tilt enter a 1K. And I was like in first for like 3/4 of the game. But yeah, I thought this was going to be my day. I had him everywhere. But it just didn't matter at this point. So how'd you guys do?
It was a losing day for me. Like I had quite a bit of Amari Cooper on FanDuel, so my FanDuel lineups went off. But I'm pretty sure I ended up losing on the other three sites. So
yeah, I had no Amari.
Yeah. Like I got onto Amari on a few different lineups over on Fantasy Draft. I had a lot of tickets into their queue. But couldn't take down the queue there. And then just had him on my main lineup for my main tournament and my main cash on FanDuel. But, yeah, I didn't really love that spot. He was just priced well over on FanDuel.
John won $1 million. Right?
Is that what happened? No. I had a bad Thanksgiving slate, but it was a great day all around besides having a terrible DFS day. But, did call Calvin Ridley. Just wanted to say, should have had 2 touchdowns, but I'm continuing my hot streak. All right, TY, now Calvin. We'll continue it on this pod. I'll give another one out.
Well, the one thing that tilted me the most is I had to by Thanksgiving. By the time Thanksgiving rolled around, I had already even started it back on the show, but I was 100% convinced that there was no possible way that the Bears do not get Michael Gallup a touchdown for the loss of his brother in a game on Thanksgiving. And I had him everywhere. And I'm just disappointed in the Cowboys organization. I think that's terrible. Like, if I was just saying it all day to like my family, to my girlfriend's family, I was just saying, if I'm the coach, if I'm the owner, if I'm anything, I have one goal. And that's to get Michael Gallup a touchdown. This guy poured his heart out, lost his brother. He's back on the field playing. Like, you get the man a touchdown. Nope. So that
Can't do it when Cooper's taking all the touchdowns.
Yeah, they just wanted to show off their shiny new toy instead. Typical Jerry Jones. I thought he would have a heart, but and plus Jason Garrett is such an idiot anyway. I mean,
worst.
I was stupid to put my faith in that. It was a dumb narrative play for me, but we're back for some more narrative plays. How many games we got going left for Sunday?
10 games, yeah.
We've got 10 games, and I'm going to save the people. I haven't, done enough research yet. I've done a little bit, but you guys are going to be carrying me on this one for sure. So let's just get right into it. Slate overview, big picture overview. How do things look to you guys?
Yeah, there's not like a lot of like super competitive games. There's not too many, super high scoring games. But I think the one that obviously sticks out the most to everybody would be the San Fran at Tampa Bay game. Like I said, I think there's most of these games, there's a pretty big favorite in it. So I don't think there's going to be too many game stacks available here. But I think the most exposure on the slate will be at San Fran at Tampa Bay.
Yeah, just from a big slate picture, do agree with Brett. But I just think that really the toughest position, in my opinion, is going to be the quarterback position and what you do with it. I don't see a ton of great plays there, and it's going to be interesting with ownership and some of these guys, young quarterbacks in, good situations, but, really raw and not really trusting a lot of them. So it's going to be interesting to see, how heavily owned they are. Guys like Lamar Jackson, Nick Mullins, both in great spots. But, that for me is going to be the interesting spot. Not saying that I might not have some of them in lineups, but I just don't see a quarterback that I'm super comfortable playing. I mean, we got Jameis Winston is going to be the chalkiest quarterback on the slate, and I'm worried he's going to get pulled after a bad first half. So, we'll see.
Yeah, all right. So let's start there. Let's talk quarterbacks position. So it looks like the guys that are going to at least get the most ownership, right? At least right now, as of right now, are Lamar Jackson, and that's just a game script play, taking on a horrendous Oakland team. There's a lot of rushing upside there. Also, we have Alex Collins is questionable in that game, which will be, and we get my boy Gus. Who's my boy? What's his name?
Gus Edwards.
Yeah, Gus Edwards. Yeah, that's right. It's going to have a potential opportunity there, but the Jameis, who I just can't. I can't have any part of this freaking Tampa offense anymore. It's just crushed my soul this season. But other than that, the next guy, I mean, I'll probably end up going towards Andrew Luck or Cam. Potentially maybe some Nick Mullins, but do I really want to put my faith in Nick Mullins? I'd rather just take Breida, right? John's boy.
God, I love Matt Breida.
Yeah, he's gonna be one of my more favorite plays, I think, this week. So just a guy that I had marked for sure in that game.
And then then we can get into some deep GPP flyers with potentially like a Russ or Wentz or Baker Mayfield. I
don't have too many worries about Jameis Winston getting pulled. Like if we're looking just squarely at the quarterback spot, I mean, I know they've obviously gone back and forth. Both have failed for the reasoning why they're getting pulled. But I don't know. I think this is a spot where I feel pretty confident in Jameis at 6K to be probably my cash game quarterback on most sites. But it is tough when you do look at Lamar Jackson. And it is pretty crazy in 2018 that we have an NFL quarterback that had 27 carries. And we know how bad and how defeated the Raiders defense looks. So I guess I wouldn't hate going to Lamar Jackson in cash games. But, yeah, it's just a weird spot to have Lamar in, like, tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar Jackson is probably, if I had to choose between Lamar and Nick Mullins, I'd probably look more towards Lamar Jackson. But like I said, it's so tough. Like in GPPs, Wentz is a guy that I'm looking at. I feel like last week he was just going up against a Saints team that was on fire. I mean, their defense is awesome. Their offense was, cooking the whole time. It was just a bad matchup. The Saints are just a better team than everyone else. So I think we just throw that game out the window. And really, I'm not that worried about the Giants' defense. Wentz is at home. Before that Saints game, Wentz has had, his lowest output in the last, 7 games has been 22 fantasy points on DraftKings. So, I mean, that seems like a pretty safe guy to me. I'll take 20 points. I'll take my 20 to 25 points with my QB and be happy. I mean, he's only 5,900. That's a good price tag. But, tournament pivots, a guy that two guys I'm looking at and I think are going to be super low owned. One guy is Ben Roethlisberger. He's on the road. Nobody likes to play Big Ben on the road. He does have bad splits on the road. But this is a guy who, against this Denver team, their defense isn't terrible, but he can absolutely have success through the air. I think they can move the ball against this Denver team. I'm not too worried about that. So I like him at 6,100. I think him stacked with, AB and Connor or AB and Juju. It's not a bad, game stack to me. And I think it's going to be super, contrarian, and then Cam Newton's another guy. He lost Devin Funches. So I think, the targets are kind of, where he's going with the ball is a little smaller. You got McCaffrey and Olsen and DJ Moore, and those are like probably his 3 main targets. But I think Cam's also going to try and, do it himself a lot in this game. I think he's going to try and run the ball a little more, be more aggressive at the goal line. And I could totally see him, sneaking in a run or 2 at the goal line. So those are 2 guys that I'm just, GPP, upside. I like those 2 guys.
Yeah, that's I do like the Wentz call. That's a game that interests me. Obviously, I like Saquon in that game, and I want to, potentially run him with some people. I like going back to Ertz after completely busting, and I'll even look at Golden Tate and Alshon. Those are the guys I'm kind of considering right now, so I do like that call. All right, Brett, what do you think?
Yeah, I think for just like quarterback GPP flyers that I would be willing to invest in this week is Russell Wilson at Carolina. This is kind of a sneakier shootout game for me. Just being in Carolina, they are 25th DVOA versus the pass, and they've kind of been really good, stuff in the run. And Seattle wants to pass anyway, so. And we're also noticing an uptick in Russell Wilson just running the ball. So he's had at least 5 attempts just running the ball the last 3 weeks. So that's nice to see, especially in the first, 8-9 games, he was not really taking off. So like that. And then also would like to get some Baker Mayfield exposure. Kind of a battle of Ohio here, Cleveland at Cincinnati. Cincinnati defense has been really bad through the air. So just kind of a spot to get I feel like I haven't been able to invest in Cleveland the pass game in the last few weeks. So I think this is a spot where I kind of take a shot here.
Cincinnati's defense has been bad against the air and the run.
Yeah.
So
it's terrible.
Either way, I love the Baker Mayfield call. I'm probably going to have a little more Nick Chubb than Baker Mayfield, but I'm totally on that call.
Any interest in the other side of that game with Dalton?
Yeah, I think that's kind of a sneakier play. Price-wise, the pricing of these guys I really like. Should be interesting. I don't think AJ Green's going to make it back this week, but even if he does, I think a guy like Tyler Boyd, his price has really gone down
to like $6K, right? Or something.
Yep. And the thing is, I don't think a lot of people realize this, but he's even in his last 2 games, he's had a 28% market share, which is really elite. He gets Brian Body Calhoun in the slot. And this is a guy that's been just getting burned the last, 3-4 years. I mean, I remember always circling Brian Body Calhoun anytime I had a wide receiver going out against him. And he's given up 116.1 QB rating in his coverage. So I think Tyler Boyd is definitely a buy spot for sure.
Yeah, he was benched earlier in the year. He's definitely a guy to target. So I do like that call, and I'll always roll out Tyler Boyd. So this is, I can get behind that play for sure. Anyone in this game that you kind of have your eye on, JSU?
Really the only guy I really love is Nick Chubb. I said it a little earlier.
Yep.
I just absolutely love running backs against Cincinnati. They've given up 8 touchdowns on the ground to running backs in the last 4 games. They've given up, I think it was over, 600 yards on the ground. Just the numbers are ridiculous if you look at them. I think they've been averaging 6.2 yards a carry in the last Nick Chubb's been averaging 6.2 yards a carry in his last 2 games, about 141 yards per game. So I love this spot for Nick Chubb. He just runs so hard all the time. I don't see any way Cincinnati stops this guy. And the Browns are content with just feeding him the ball. He's gotten 20 carries plus in the last 2 games, 80% snap share the last game. So I love that. He's going to be one of my top 1 running backs.
I like it. All right. So that's a nice segue into running backs. Who are the other guys? I'm showing the popular plays, at least off the bat. It's going to be Melvin Gordon. There's some potential injury risk up in the air. But He's going to be, if he's good to go, he'll be at least for cash the chalky guy, and he'll be chalky in GPPs as well. But I really like Saquon, Chubb. Marlon Mack is a guy that's getting a lot of love right now. James Conner, Christian McCaffrey. Who are some of your guys?
Yeah, I have Marlon Mack as the highest owned projected on a site here. So I don't know. I think it's good chalk though. He's gone his last 2 weeks were versus the Titans and the Jaguars. They're two top 10 rushing defenses. We just saw what the Jaguars did to James Conner too. So this is a spot where I definitely want to invest in the highest implied total of any team. Right now the Colts have a 29.25 implied total. So I expect this to be a spot where he just gets work on the ground quite a bit here. Still have a lot of love also for T.Y. Hilton in that game, but I think you can get exposure to both. And then like I know we'll probably have this debate. You guys have a lot of love for Josh Adams. I don't know if I can go there yet, but I don't mind getting some exposure in the Tampa Bay game and going with Peyton Barber at 3,900. So, this is going to be kind of more of an ownership play. If I see that Josh Adams is becoming kind of higher owned, or what I consider to be chalk for really cheap, I don't mind getting some Peyton Barber exposure at that same price.
Yeah, so Josh Adams, he's another guy I do really like. Just some things to note here with the Giants. Obviously, the last 2 games, they're an average run defense on the year, but really that doesn't tell the whole story. The last 2 games they've been without Snacks Harrison, who they traded away to Detroit. Now, in those last 2 games, they've been giving up 137.5 yards to running backs. Just the run defense that they were is not the same run defense that they are now. So I think that's one thing you have to look at. The other thing is Josh Adams in a absolute blowout paid 55% of the snaps. He's going to play more. I don't care what Chris says. Chris is going to talk about Wendell Smallwood and Corey Clement. They want to get this guy the ball. This guy is their most talented running back by far. You're going to see a snap share go up a little bit, and he's going to get way more carries than 7. And I know that number of carries from the last game is going to kind of knock people off of him a little bit, but he will not be getting 7 carries in this matchup unless they're getting blown out. And I do not see Philadelphia in Philly getting blown out. I'm sorry.
Let me tell you, with their defense, their secondary, they are going to give up points. And if they're giving up points, they're going to be – I just don't see this being this Josh Adams home favorite, type of game, slam on the ball.
The Giants aren't stopping them.
It's just not going to be that game script, I don't think. I feel like the Giants are going to be able to have their way in this game from an offensive standpoint, even with Doodle Arm Eli. They just have too many weapons against this, awful zone, horrible secondary that's just Swiss cheese right now. So I get it, but, there's always, if whoever's chalk, you always know he's going to bust on Philly. It's just, guaranteed. So that's the science, people, okay? So, it's going to end up being, Smallwood or Clement somehow. And I can't get behind – I can't play Peyton Barber either. These are just guys I just can't – so what are we looking at pricing here for running backs? Who we've got Gus Edwards. That's a game script I can get behind.
Yeah, but that hinges on Alex Collins, I think, for me, in a way. It did seem like Gus Edwards just took over that share without even an in-game injury for Alex Collins. But it's one of those things where, we do have a questionable Alex Collins, and I don't want any type of timeshare, especially when you have a quarterback that's already running the ball 26 times last week. It's just okay, I don't know if I see enough share going around to 2 to 3 more backs, because even Buck Allen had plenty of snaps last week. He only had 5 snaps, so I love it.
He did. Yeah, he was
so even if it is a 2-headed backfield, I don't know how confident I would feel with that situation. I I'd like to see Alex Collins not suit up.
I'd rather get up to guys like, obviously, like Mac or Breda, potentially even like a Kenyon Drake. I just want upside. I don't know. And
Well,
then
here,
what isn't
talk
Doug
about
Martin? Doug Martin out?
I
Thought I heard that, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't have any type of injury for Doug.
I don't see him as out.
I could have totally.
He doesn't have an injury designation on the report, so he's in.
It's coming. He's going to be out. I have no idea. I just made that up in my head. I thought I heard. All right. So I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
Let's go to James Conner. So at Denver, obviously he got shut down at Baltimore. We expect this to be a pretty high owned play. And I know, JSU, you were on Conner quite a bit last week. Is this a spot where you go right back to it, even though the ownership's going to be high, or how do you deal with the James Conner this week?
Yeah, so last week's James Conner play was, one, because it was a good matchup, but two, also because he was going to be lower owned, which he was. And he could have paid his price off. He just kept dropping touchdowns. But this week, it seems like everyone's going to flock to him. And if Melvin Gordon is injured or limited or out in any way, I mean, that just makes his ownership's going to go through the roof, I think. So I don't know if I want to take chalk James Conner, but I will say that James Conner at 7,800 is too cheap, especially in this matchup.
How can we not play Leonard Fournette?
That's where I was going to go. There you go.
This is a guy that totally is going to get 25-plus touches.
30 touches per game, pretty much, basically, against the Bills.
Yep.
They're going to feed him. I hate the fact that Hyde is there. And Hyde looks decent when he's out there, but
Hyde's a good running back. I agree.
Yeah, and it does kind of like it takes a little away from him, but not much. I mean, they just feed him. And against the Bills, I don't care if it's in Buffalo. It's actually preferable probably with the weather cold, just feed Fournette, let him take advantage.
Yeah, no one's gonna want to hit him in the cold.
Yeah. The only thing I would be worried about there is Jacksonville's record on the year is 3-7, and we know obviously Fournette's injury history is like when do you kind of just shut down a running back, a guy that's somewhat injury prone? I mean, probably not worried about it in week 12, but it's something like once their season's over with, when do you kind of just start losing faith?
The only thing I'm worried about is the blowout. I don't think I'm worried about. I mean, injuries. But
they just don't.
They're worried about injuries every time they step on the field. It's football. I worry every time Matt Breida goes out there. I'm worried he's gonna snap an ankle or a knee right first play.
The thing to worry about.
I'm not talking about an in-game injury. I'm talking about like a coach wanting to not.
Yeah, but they're 3-7. You said, right?
Yeah, not yet. It ain't happening yet.
It's not happening yet.
But
the division's basically out of hand because they're Houston's 7-3 is all I'm saying. And this is a guy that they rested him in past just for fear of re-injuring another injury. So
he's ready to go. He told me. I talked to him.
And I wouldn't be worried about them blowing out Buffalo. Buffalo always shows up at home.
They do.
No, this is what I have said all year, and I play their defense, and they just get absolutely smoked. So this is not something I'm willing to say anymore. That they always show up at home because they haven't shown up at home. But the thing I worry most about is literally pick sixes could hurt Fournette's value in this game.
But how many passes are they going to even allow? I don't know how many passes they're going to even allow Bortles to throw here. I don't think they need to pass.
Yeah, I think.
No, I'm saying Jacksonville pick sixes.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
First Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Well,
Nathan
Peterman. Play Leonard Fournette and their defense. There you go, guys. Just play Leonard Fournette and the defense.
All the touchdowns.
There you go. Get them all.
Yeah.
I don't see how. I played Fournette last year. I mean, I love Fournette is by far my favorite play from a running back standpoint, even ahead of Saquon.
So one team that we haven't even knocked on yet is your guys' Patriots here. Is there anything in New England? They have the second highest implied for a team at 28.5. I mean, we still got injury-riddled Rob Gronkowski. Looks like he's going to be playing this week, but
Brady is now questionable, but like legitimately questionable. He's sick, and he's not only is he sick, but he's also his knee was downgraded Friday. And
the last blurb that I have in front of me is he's expected to play now. So
yeah,
I mean, I just heard on the news today that like it's up in the air right now, and
he's gonna play.
And it's just showing on RotoWorld right now. His illness designation is a new addition to Friday's injury report. Brady was actually downgraded Friday, having sat out after being limited earlier in the week. Even so, we fully expect both he and Gronkowski to play. But this is whenever you get it. I mean, if he's sick, if he has the flu, he legitimately this is brand new. He legitimately could not be ready to go.
Well, maybe it just means you stay away from their offense in general. But I totally think Brady's going to play. I don't see any way he misses this game unless he's literally on his deathbed. But
I just don't feel like
I think he's on already. I think he's been on his deathbed all season long. To be honest with you.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
he sucks.
These Patriots on DraftKings, they're just all overpriced, right? I mean, you can't like really, you can't even project like what they're gonna do from week to week. Like, I don't know. This is a spot where I think I just avoid the whole situation.
Oh, let's give a shout out to our favorite. Hold on, I'll pull up his name while you guys are talking.
I mean, Gronk isn't overpriced. He's just not playing well.
Sure. That's the one guy that's not.
Yeah, he's not overpriced.
I wanted you with the inside Gronk info.
Well, he's definitely healthy to play. That's one of the reasons why I know Brady's going to play, because I feel like Gronk wouldn't be playing this week if it wasn't for Brady, because that guy's literally going to retire with Brady.
Let's give a big shout out to friend of the pod, Big E, with the Chicago Bears avatar, the picture, who was all over us. You thinking the Lions are going to roll the Bears? You've been watching the Bears, bro? Then we get through that, we get over that, and then he comes through. No one wanted to watch the Bears versus Vikings. Are you out of your mind, man? It was just shocking that he had a picture of the Chicago Bear logo.
Yeah, that's when I said like.
He's got Anthony Rizzo chilling in his background picture.
Yeah, that's when I said like, why did they flex this game like only to screw the Bears? I'm like, nobody wanted to watch this outside of like Bears and Vikings fans, But,
shout out to Big E.
I like watching the Bears play. By the way, Tyreek Cohen's like one of my.
I like Khalil. I like.
Yeah.
But like, I wasn't excited to watch Daniels for sure, and that game was disgusting.
That game was awful. But,
and the Lions are worse, but
yeah. Thanksgiving in general was pretty like a lot of those games didn't come through.
Yeah, let's go back to the main slate. Let's go. Transition back, guys.
I don't know. Are we done?
Where are we at? We at wide out.
We gotta hit up some wide receivers.
Is that a wrap? Boys?
No, we got some wide receivers to hit up.
Let's go. Let's hit the wide receivers up.
All right, let's do Chris' favorite thing. Let's go to Tampa. And like I know he loves.
I do it. I'll end up on freaking 100% Jameis by Sunday. I know it.
Yeah, but like we're talking the Chris Godwin, Deshaun Jackson, Mike Evans, Adam Humphries. You got D-Jax who's questionable. He seems to be questionable every week. So I don't know how questionable this questionable tag really is. But I don't know. I'm going to probably want more exposure to Godwin here. Just the price. It's going to be more of a price point play at 4,100. On the outside, you still have Richard Sherman, but I'm not worried about him. Both Godwin and Deshaun Jackson can take this guy deep. So I feel pretty good about a deep touchdown pass with one of these guys.
Why do we want Godwin now, he was basically now number 4 wide receiver? He played season-low snaps. I know you're a big snap guy, 23 snaps.
Mm-hmm.
So why do we want Godwin now?
I feel like they do the same thing. Godwin and Deshaun Jackson are in there just for deep passes. I mean, Humphries and Evans play every snap, and then they kind of just rotate Jackson and Godwin. Mainly, I'm thinking Godwin gets his snap share back if this Deshaun Jackson injury is a little bit true this week.
And then they're probably going to end up, whoever is going to end up seeing probably Richard Sherman probably.
Yeah, which I'm more than fine. Like I'm not too worried about 33-year-old Richard Sherman.
Yeah, I mean, personally, if I was to take a receiver from this game, I would take Mike Evans.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take anyone else. He obviously has developed a really good passing relationship with Jameis. Looks great when he's out there throwing it to him. That's the guy I would go to.
And then we're going to have a chalky Cameron Brate now because no O.J. Howard in the picture. But now I just heard Silva saying you don't play Cameron. Cameron Brate is awful when he's alone without O.J. Howard. So what do I do? Do I play him? Do I not? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going to play him probably, but you can do.
Jesus, Donovan Mitchell will not return to tonight's game. Mother of God.
You had him in your DraftKings lineup, right?
Yeah, I did.
So I actually like at tight end paying up to George Kittle this week. I don't know how popular of a play that will be, but it's a lack of liking the San Francisco wide receivers and then how bad Tampa Bay has been against the tight end. And he's at a price point of 6,200, which is really close to Zach Ertz at 6,400. So I don't know. His ownership shouldn't be too high because I think if people are going to pay up, they're going to pay up to Ertz, and then it might be of a shock of a sticker price to pay 6,200 for Kittle. But Kittle has been phenomenal in this offense with Mullins running quarterback. So
I got bad news for you, my friend.
What's that?
I love it.
Kittle is the chalk.
No, he's not.
I'm showing him as the highest owned tight end of the week.
No, I wrote this up too in the lineup HQ thing. He's not going to be chalk. Everyone's going to go back to Ertz. No one's going to pay. If you're paying up that high, everyone's going to go to Ertz. I'm with Brett on this one.
Yeah, and I think your boy Brate's going to be chalky at 3,600.
Yeah.
I just don't think people are going to be if people are paying cheap, they're going to go to Brate, and if they're paying up, they're going to Ertz. I don't see Kittle.
You guys are smoking. This is a 53.5 point total. He's like the best. He's like there's only two catch threats on the San Francisco 49ers. It's either Kittle or Goodwin. Goodwin is is definitely the least safer, but has upside. I like them both, but Kittle is going to get a ton of love, and I'm showing that he's going to be the chalkiest. So. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm thinking he is going to be chalky. But
what about the Goodwin/Godwin stacks? Got to start out there, right?
The double G squared. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'm going to leave out Godwin.
I don't want Godwin. Yeah. Wait a minute. Why did I just agree to Godwin? I don't like Godwin.
Come on, he's trying to trick you, Chris.
Yeah.
Let's go back. We're going back to wide receivers because we skipped over talking about Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham.
Go for it. Take it away.
They're literally in two of the best spots. And Odell Beckham is going against, as Chris said earlier in the pod, right now probably the worst secondary. It is atrocious what we're looking at with these guys who are trying. Sidney Jones, Douglas, these guys are terrible.
Yeah.
I watched this game twice. On replay just to see who they were picking on, and they were picking on both of them. There wasn't one guy they were targeting over the other.
Yeah, this is like the Odell Beckham ego, stroke his ego game where he just does anything he wants and they just feed him, and he just goes berserk like that. We've been waiting for all year. So I can get on board with that.
And I will say too, Odell Beckham did. I'm not going to say he disappointed people last week. But I feel like a lot of people were on him last week, and he didn't put up that, 30, 40-point, banger that everyone thought he was going to do. It was Saquon. And just for that, I feel like he might be just a little less owned than he should be. Not saying he's going to be low owned, saying he should be higher owned, but he won't be because he didn't have a great game last week. That recency bias. So that for me, he's one of the top wide receiver plays for me in GPPs of this week.
They were just really efficient. They didn't have to throw in bulk, Like Eli was super efficient last week. I just think if they're pressed to throw, those are the weeks that you want to have Odell Beckham for sure. You never know what you're going to get out of Eli from week to week, but yeah, with what type of trash they have in their defensive backfield, I think you've got to feel pretty comfortable in Odell's production this week.
Can we, if Brady's healthy, any interest in Josh Gordon?
Yeah, no. I'm probably not going to go there.
No. Hey, the other guy, Antonio Brown's got a great matchup this week. Bradley Roby is not a great corner at all. He's not going to see Chris Harris. Chris Harris plays predominantly in the slot. He's going to see a lot of juju. I don't see Chris Harris going and guarding Antonio Brown, but even if he does, Antonio Brown is matchup proof. Nobody can stop Antonio Brown. He's that good. You saw him, what he did in Jacksonville, and Jacksonville has probably the best corner right now in the league, or one of the.
That touchdown play was ridiculous.
Whatever. My point is that Jalen Ramsey couldn't stop him. It doesn't matter. Nobody can stop Antonio Brown.
Because he cheats.
Brown is matchup.
Because he's the king of cheating.
That's fine.
I know,
that's
but that's a skill.
Whatever gets it done, Chris.
No, you're right. It gets it done.
Right. Yes.
It's a skill.
Yes.
It is. It is. I agree.
And I'm just saying, he's not going to see Chris Harris. No, he will not. Okay, Keenan Allen saw Chris Harris because Keenan Allen spent most of the game in the slot.
We have to go back to T.Y. Hilton, and we have to go back to DJ Moore.
Yeah, I'm all about T.Y. Hilton. You don't have to convince me that anytime he's at home. And isn't this a huge price mistake by DraftKings? Going up.
It's not a mistake. It's what they do.
Yeah, it's only going from 6,100 to 6,500. This is a guy that he always smashes at home, and this is just a great spot. I don't know how you don't go back there. He's going to be owned, but it's going to be tough not to have a lot of exposure to T.Y. Hilton this week.
All right, that's a wrap.
I am probably going to fade T.Y. Hilton.
All right. Anything else we should talk about?
One thing. You do have a Charger situation where obviously they have a Melvin Gordon injury, but Keenan Allen in the slot. I think if Melvin Gordon is healthy, I still want to get some exposure to Keenan Allen. That would be the last wide receiver I'd want to talk about.
All right,
he's been whining for the ball too, and his targets have been up. And
last 2 weeks they've been there.
Yep.
I like that call. Let's give our top plays. Unless you want to talk about DJ Moore, Chris.
Yeah,
we just go back to him. Moore. We go back to him. That's that simple. That's all I'm going to say.
You're going back to him. I will reserve the right to change my mind, but right now I feel like I will not be going, all in crazy on him like I did last week. I just hate when a guy comes in and he's pretty low owned and you get him in the great spot, and then the next week everyone's on him. It's the party already started last week. And
I get it. I'm so mad. So I considered him in cash because he was the only one in that 4,200 range or whatever. And I kept being maybe I should play DJ Moore, but and then I ended up I can't do it. And then for some reason I forgot to play him in GPPs. So it was really tilting.
Yeah, and I've never been a fan of Funchess, so this could be a spot where he just becomes the guy the rest of the year. I don't mind it. It's I also hate being late on a guy that just bursts out the first week, and then you're just paying with it because of the ownership.
And he didn't even he just had that one. It was just a bad. The guy fell, and he had an open.
Here's the interesting thing. Is if everyone's going DJ Moore, I feel like McCaffrey is just forgotten. He's just a forgotten running back in the running back range with so many good plays. And I feel like Olsen, who I know he's old and he's slow and whatever, But
he actually looked pretty good.
Those are the two guys to me that I feel like in GPPs I'm going to stack Cam with. Because if everyone's going for DJ Moore and he flops and Cam has a good game and McCaffrey and Olsen at low ownership, which I think they will be low owned, and I mean Cam has one less main target to go to, so it makes it a little easier for him to spread to those guys. I think taking a shot on that stack isn't a bad idea. I think that's one thing that I'm going to look at.
Yeah, I'm just seeing right now that Funchess is hurt, right? Like he's not playing this week.
I think he's out. He's definitely out, I think.
Yeah. So regardless, I mean, to me, like Greg Olsen is everything that Funchess is. So if there's not another Funchess, then I expect Greg Olsen's like touchdown equity to go way up in the red zone. So yeah. I like Greg Olsen.
I think him, Kittle, and Ertz are the three tight ends I'm looking at this week, and that's it.
I got one. I have to go all in on Ricky Seals-Jones.
Oh, dude, don't do it.
If a guy burns me so bad, I never go back. I just get rid of him. He
burned me so bad last week.
He always goes off. The week I get off.
Were you all in on him?
Yeah, I had him everywhere.
What, Brett, weren't you all in on him too?
I had so much, like that was the one time where if I went cheap, I was going Ricky Seals-Jones. So if I went expensive, it was Ertz last week.
That was like the one thing.
Ertz hurt me probably just as much.
So. I didn't have any Ertz and I didn't have any Seals-Jones. All right, listen, I had Mariota who got me 4, all right? Lost the King of the Beach because of that. Leave me alone, Chris.
All right. All right. Is there anybody on? I mean, if we love the Colts side, we're going to have to get some points out of Miami. Tannehill's back. To make these guys have good days. Is there anybody on the Dolphins you guys are considering?
It's going to be like who's all healthy at the wide receiver core. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind exposure to Stills or Devontae. Devontae seems like more of the GPP play. But yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm in love with it, but you got to look at Devontae's targets at least. The last 3 games, he's had a 9-target game and 11-target game. So I feel like if this game stays close, like they're implied to score 21.8, which is, a lot more points than they've scored, it seems like, with their seasonal average. So I don't know. Devontae Parker would be my big play guy out of the Dolphins wide receivers.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick one, which I don't even know if I'm going to take any in my lineups, but if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Kenny Stills. I know in the past Tannehill has looked to him, and he is a big play guy. He can get behind guys and have big plays. So if I had to choose one, it'd be Kenny Stills. But I'm not in love with the passing game.
If I had to choose one, I'm going to take Kenyon Drake. I know the usage is terrible, but the Colts are pretty good against the run. They've yet to allow anyone rush 100-yard rushing yards against them.
Yeah, they've been.
But they have allowed a lot through the passing game to running backs. So problem is that Tannehill is probably not the guy who's going to feed the running back through the pass game a lot, and just so much uncertainty with Drake. They just haven't given usage. But this makes sense. It's in the dome like this. It takes a leap of faith here, and you got to hope maybe that Gore is kind of winding down as the season goes along here. So, I mean, it takes a lot to get there for it to go right. But he would be the guy that I think that in theory has upside in this game.
Yeah, I think Amendola has the highest floor if you just look at his target share and target volume. But I don't know. To me, Devontae Parker is the one guy that can really bust out a huge game. So I think I'd be bringing back with my Colts stacks with Parker more often here.
I mean, really, do I have to play someone from Miami? I I don't love any of these guys.
No, you don't, because it's like there's so many, like any of them.
Look what they did to the Titans last week, and there was no one I needed to play from the Titans. It's like they could roll these guys. It could be 40-7, like the final score. Like I'm worried about this game. Like I like I said, I love Mac. Andrew Luck's a fine play, but like I'm worried from the standpoint of like Miami's not going to be able to keep this game close. I don't think. But
yeah, but like, it is a 50-point total, and I mean, none of these offensive guys are expensive whatsoever.
Yeah, 40-7. That's
4,700. Yeah,
it's close.
I mean,
it's close.
Yeah, it's a spot where the more Chris brought this up, I think the more I like it. Bringing it back with some Dolphin exposure for sure.
It's just tough to pick.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's such a plethora of Dolphins options,
Now that we're in late November, you really have to worry about what weather, and these dome games and like games in Tampa Bay. Like those are the games like I'm gonna really start focusing on. Stay away from bad weather.
All right, is that a wrap finally?
I think it is.
Yeah, we're gonna give our play and that's it. Everyone giving a play this week.
You're so ready to give a play. It's because you already wrote up 2 plays for your blurbs, so you're already prepared or whatever. So, go ahead, give it a play.
I won't even give any of them. All right, I'll give them someone else. All right, not from my blurb.
Okay, go.
All right. So I am excited. Okay, my play is Antonio Brown. All right, he's gonna have 2 touchdowns this week. Book it. Mark it down on your calendar. Chris Harris, Bradley Roby. I don't care who they stick on him. 2 touchdowns, Antonio Brown. Let's go.
Okay. Since Chris hated this play so much, I'm going to
Peyton Barber.
No, I'm going George Kittle, baby. Same game.
Oh no, I don't hate the play. I think it's I love the play.
Oh, you just thought he was going to be.
I just said I have news for you. He's going to be chalk.
Yeah, this is a game where I think. Out of like all the main guys in this game, I don't know how highly owned Kittle will be. So I don't know. I think in a spot where I've missed on tight end so much this season, like Kittle feels safe to me in a game that I expect to shoot out. So give me a bunch of exposure to Kittle.
Jeff Hireman. Okay, boys.
You're just saying a name and no reason why. Just Jeff Hireman.
Because I want to run Antonio. If JSU likes Antonio Brown, I want to run him back with somebody, and looking for a tight end.
Not Emmanuel Sanders.
No, Jeff Hireman. So there you go.
That's a wrap, boys.
That's my racing.
Yeah. Sorry for the Jeff Hireman closer there.
I have no idea. All right, that's a wrap. Thank you for tuning in once again. We'll be back again next week. I'll be more prepared. But anyway, again, shout out to our number 1 fan, Big E. What's his name? The Bears guy.
Just call him Bears fan.
Let's get his handle. Let's get his handle out. Everyone can follow him. Let's see here.
I'm gonna go follow him after this, just so he knows that I'm a Bears fan.
It's at BIGGEZE at Big Easy E. Everybody follow this dude. It's a must follow. All right. Thank you. We'll catch you next week. RG DFS Tournament Takes podcast, and we're out.
See you guys.
Later.